political analyst Dr. John Molepo. Dr. Molepo, a very good evening to you and welcome to News at Prime. So the DA has managed to take back the mayoral position in Tshwane after losing it briefly, but the true test will be in how long they're able to hold on to it, right?
Well, yeah, true. And I think what is critical for now is that the DA managed to win back the city, though it was a very hassle or a difficult journey, because you remember that they lost to Cope then until the bogus mayor, who then, after all, with his qualifications, with his insolvency and so on, and then we had to allow a rerun of this, and I think the DA managed to win this particular time. But what does it mean for coalitions arrangement, particularly in the city of Tshwane? The city has been unstable for many months, and it tells you that when a city is unstable, those who suffer at most are the community members, because there's a budget that needs to be approved, adjustment needs to be done, the reports that needs to be approved. So it tells you that this conundrum that has been happening for a month or so, it has really affected the citizens of Tshwane. So I'm hoping that from this particular election of the councillor, the city will now be stable and will see the delivery of services to the people of Tshwane.
For that to happen, though, there'd have to be the ANC basically and its allies conceding defeat as far as the election of a mayor in Tshwane is concerned. And I wonder how likely that is to happen when you consider that in Tshwane we've seen no sooner is a person elected, just days later there's a motion for their removal.
Well, no one accepted defeat, but eventually you end up accepting a defeat. And I think we've seen how the ANC in the previous, when they lost the city, they went back and galvanized, tried to make sure that the DA fall. So I think the ANC will revert back to their strategy. They come up with a lot of issues to destabilize the DA. Remember, currently the ANC in the municipality, they are the opposition, so they have to oppose anything that comes from the person who's running or the political party that is running the municipality. So in this case, they'll still go back and come up with strategies to ensure that the DA governs with difficulty, but obviously they will do it within the prescripts of laws, and after all, this is politics. So we expect the ANC to do what any opposition party will do. But in light, they should always think of the residents of city of Tshwane. As much as we might see these conundrums, these fights happening, but they must allow others to lead. And those who are leading, they must also serve the citizens of Tshwane.
But have they done that, though? And by they, I'm referring to both the DA-led side of the aisle in Tshwane and the ANC-led side of the aisle. Have they really put people first? Because it could be argued, could it not, that there's been an obsession with winning at any cost?
Well, this is about power, which is politics. So I think both parties, even the EFF, they need power. And surely most of them, they use municipalities as their vehicle to really assist their programs, their political programs. So I think most will want to put will put that as a rhetoric that they are there for the citizens, but few. But also, if we were to check both administration, the then ANC, even the DA, you can see a huge difference. Some will even argue that the one for the DA was pro other people, and for the ANC was for pro other people. So it's always about what the messaging that they're doing to the society. But what is critical is, if you were to check these political parties, both of them, they fight for power. So anything that happens, you will see that the ANC, with any mistake that the DA does, the ANC will be the one running for it. So we have seen it with how the former leader of the ANC in Tshwane, Kgosi Maipane, has been doing. And also you have seen with how the DA they've been doing when they see a mistake. For example, the late Makwarela, the recent incident of Dr. Makwarela. So the DA was the one instrumental in ensuring that they come up with a story of insolvency. While the man was also a councillor at some point in their party. So both of them, they've been fighting for power. So I don't think for now what we are going to expect is any miracle. The only thing that we will see opposition opposing any ruling party.
And Dr. Makwarela was a COPE member of the Tshwane Council, but of course a candidate that was supported at some point when he was speaker by the DA-led coalition. Just on the status quo, you've got a speaker who comes from the ANC-led coalition. You've got a mayor as of tonight who comes from the DA side of things. We know the Democratic Alliance is going to try with its allies to remove Nzanana as speaker. Should that fail, is this country's politics and the politicians, are they mature enough to function properly in a situation where the speaker and the mayor come from opposing sides of the political spectrum in council?
With what we have seen recently, I think democracy is maturing, obviously, in South Africa. But with what we have seen with the coalition arrangements currently, I don't think most of us are ready, especially as a country, to deliberate on this particular issue. I think the best way is that maybe perhaps we need to move away from what we call the executive mayoral system and perhaps let us adopt the one we call collective system that can easily lessen the tension around the question of governance or political positions or, those particular positions. I think that can lessen, or perhaps maybe we see a way in which we can govern these particular coalition arrangements. Maybe South Africa, we come up with a proper framework that can govern this particular framework. For an example, if you were to sit alone and think, why will a person from one who won one seat and becomes a mayor, and you have a person who comes from who got maybe 36% or so, and other got 17, 20, yet they are not even governing, but a person who has one seat becomes a mayor. So I think perhaps if we tighten up the question of the framework that governs this coalition, I think maybe we can see some light. Or else we go back to our Systems Act, which speaks about collective system. And if you have to check municipalities in KZN where there are coalition arrangement, where they're using a collective system, we have seen there's peace, there's collegiality, there's stability in those particular municipalities. Perhaps even these particular metros, it's high time maybe they move from the executive mayoral system and use a collective system. But that's
exactly it, isn't it, Dr. Molepo? Because yes, developments in areas such as Tshwane, Ekurhuleni, Johannesburg get a lot of attention because these are key metros. But coalition politics in South Africa did not start at local government level in these three Gauteng metros, and there have been examples where they've worked well, which raises the question, why is it that in these three areas they've been so disastrous?
Well, these are simple because these are metros, and metros, they have bigger chunk of the budget, and metros, obviously metros can generate the revenue, and there are huge resources. So unlike even other, local municipalities where they govern. So, and obviously, look at this particular municipality. It's a capital city, and then it gives you closer to proximity to resources, to powerful institutions. So I think that's why mostly people will fight for particular metros. If you were to check a budget of City of Tshwane, it's more bigger than even any national department. So that's why most will want to fight for power in these particular metros. And besides, this is a capital city of the country, and Johannesburg is the economic hub, or Gauteng is the economic hub of this particular country. Hence, everyone will want to fight for these particular metros to retain and govern those particular metros.
Dr. John Molepo, good to speak to you. Thank you so much, political analyst, speaking to us on tonight's breaking news, the election of a new mayor in Tshwane. We'll bring that up on the side of your screen throughout the evening.